Alright folks, welcome back everyone. It's Mysterious GG, it's Let's Play Final Fantasy X, and the problem I have is that I just recorded 2 videos, half an hour each, and the recording session didn't take. I've got my commentary, I've got the game audio, and I don't have a visual track. Had something similar happen with my first effort to record Starflight. I was able to find on the hard drive where the actual files, screen capture files at all, were captured, but somehow it didn't get put together by Camtasia properly, and I was able to piece it together myself, but this time it didn't capture the video at all, so can't do it. And the other problem, of course, is that because I played ahead and thought I was recording, I didn't really set things up so that I could jump right back to where we are. So we can't jump back to exactly where we were. Last video, I was fighting Chimera Geist, who was the first monster arena person that we unlocked, enemy that we unlocked. And I lost, and I recorded a video where I showed you how to win, and unfortunately now Kamari, Titus, and Orin don't have full overdrives, because I used them to win that battle. The only one that's important there really are Orin and Kamari, because Kamari used Bad Breath, which I believe it was immune to every single status ailment Bad Breath inflicts except for slow. And Orin used Banishing Blade, which, although the game doesn't tell you this, inflicts all the break statuses on an enemy. So in one turn, rather than taking 2 to do Power Break and Magic Break, I was able in one turn to get Power and Magic Break, which it still is capable of killing you with 1 hit of any spell or killing you with 1 physical attack, any character. But with Power Break and Protect, your characters can survive a physical attack. With and well, Magic Break doesn't really ever enter into it, because what was happening is once I'd inflicted the slow status, so I was able to actually keep up with it, I was able to use the null spells. The Null Ray of Starscream. The null spells. Null Tide is the most important because it blocks Aqua Breath, but you also can use Null Shock, because it uses Blizzaga as well, or Blizzaga, so you can use Null Shock to get rid of Thundaga, Null Frost to get rid of Blizzaga, and Null Flame, or whatever it's called, to get rid of its Megiddo Flame. Now I was using Titus and Yuna because both of them have the null spells in my particular setup, which means that, and also Titus has haste and Orin has haste and blah blah blah. The point was that it took a ton of turns to get my buffs established and get the fight to where it was manageable, but I reached a point where my party was able to survive anything he could throw at me, and was getting more turns than he was because everyone had haste and he had slow, and I just chipped away at him, and it took about half an hour. And if I went back and tried to show you that now, I would pretty much, to have any real chance, need to take the time to get Kamari's overdrives built back up, and I'm just like, screw it. I just don't care. So if I go back and do the Monster Arena stuff later, you'll see it. But in the meantime, I just got really frustrated by losing an hour's worth of recording, and I really don't feel like going back and dealing with a half-an-hour boss fight for an optional boss that is a palette swap of a regular enemy. So it's not like it's particularly interesting. It was a really boring 30-minute video. I mean, it might have been kind of exciting if you're really following the combat mechanics to see, especially if you're not familiar with the game, how I went about making myself defensible and taking control of the fight and then slowly grinding it down. But it was a half an hour of me fighting the same enemy, so yeah. And it's also by far the weakest of the created bosses of the Monster Arena. The way the Monster Arena works, you can find any enemy that you've captured, and then by capturing one of every enemy in an area, you get creations that you get to fight, and 10 of every creature in an area gets a different creation, and getting one of every species of enemy, by species they basically mean the palette swaps. Like if you get every single enemy that has that mushroom pattern, or there's a mushroom type enemy, you fight a souped up mushroom. If you get every Chimera, I guess you fight a different souped up Chimera from the one I already fought, and so on. So of the unlockable super enemies that you only get by doing whatever, defeating all those dudes, capturing lots of stuff, Chimera Geist is the weakest, because it's the one that the game actually tells you how to unlock and encourages you to go out, and he tells you how many Calmland creatures you're missing, and blah blah. Basically, it's the tutorial on how to do it, and then you unlock it, and the thing is powerful enough to kill your whole party outright easily, but is actually the easiest of those bosses. So if you're really upset that you didn't get to watch me fight it, I apologize, but I'm going to go back and deal with all the monster arena creatures later when that thing is a comparative pushover. What was I going to do? Yeah, I was going to show you that I do have the items that you get for not defeating it, but unlocking it. You get 60 times Farplane Shadow for unlocking that thing. And the first time you tell the guy that the first time you talk to the guy after you've unlocked the requirements for that guy, for that Chimera Guy's creature, he gives you 60 times Farplane Wind as a reward, which gives you Death Strike on one weapon, or, and this is significantly more useful probably, Death Proof on one shield. And the problem, of course, is that 60 times Farplane Shadow is a one-time thing. It's not like you get it every time you fight that creature. You don't get much of anything for fighting that creature. I think I got 1 return sphere. So, yeah, you want to use those as best you can, because if you want to get Death Proof on another piece of armor, you're going to have to go find an enemy that you can steal Farplane Shadows from and steal 60 of them. So, where the heck am I? You don't recognize this screen? This is the Calm Land. I was making jokes as we left that Lulu said, like, they were talking about it like it goes on forever in all directions and is overwhelming. It's really just one big screen. And that green spot down there is the monster arena. So you can see we weren't that far from the exit at the end of the last video. I went back and tried to, like I said, I lost an hour's recording. I went back and spent a couple of minutes starting a new video where I went in to fight the Chimera Geist again, realized I didn't have the overdrives, and then basically realized how desperately essential the overdrives were to making the fight winnable. On the first couple turns, I guess I didn't think about it, when I actually won, I didn't immediately cast Bad Breath. I did that much later on, but things got much easier once I did that. And I came to realize that I should have done it earlier. But I did use Orin's Vanishing Blade pretty early, and I think that was partially responsible for it being a little bit more manageable, that this damage from the spells wasn't quite as high. So, this is also something that I already did, but we lost the recording, so let's pick it up again. And as I mentioned before, when I first tried to record this bridge grabbed my attention immediately. Because you look, there's another bridge in the distance. It looks like there's this whole little area here where you're kind of forced into this path. It really shouldn't strike me as strange, because in this game, when you wander up, plot events just grab you and pull you out. You don't have to be on an exact spot on the map for the plot event to happen. There's kind of a whole range where if you step in, the plot event happens. But it totally made me think of Zerfall's Let's Play of Eternal Felina, where he keeps walking along on the overworld map screen, and the plot makes him cross this one bridge several times, back and forth. But every time he goes to it, it zooms in closer for, like, the plot view, and he crosses uneventfully. And every time he does it, it's like, is this one's going to trigger a plot boss fight? Is this one's going to trigger a plot boss fight? And sure enough, eventually, like the 5th or 6th time he crosses that bridge, he steps into the middle of the bridge and plot triggers. So, that's the feeling I got here. Let's see if I was right.
Halt!
Who goes there? Oh, the Guado.
Summons from Lord Seymour. Come with us.
I mean, summons from Lord Seymour.
We have nothing to discuss with Maester Seymour.
That asshole.
Yeah, so out of our way.
Yeah.
Lord Seymour's commands must be obeyed. You will come.
He can't make me come.
I warn you. The Maester doesn't need you alive.
After all, he's not alive, so it'd be pretty hot if he had an undead wife. And the Guado summoned their robot, because they've got a robot. Guado summoned their Rock'em Sock'em robot, and then they walk away. So this boss fight was pretty easy compared to Chimera Geist, but I still managed to seem to make it take forever. So hopefully I won't spend quite that long with it this time. just so that I can make you guys aware of what this thing's about, but it's got a mean punch. Oh shit, I didn't mean to do that. That was stupid. I meant to, obviously I meant to haste Orin. I just punched Titus, who gets a little counter strike. Okay, so let's scan it now that we've got some guys who can sped up a bit. See what this guy's about. It's Defender X, Defender Extreme, the precursor to Defender X-2. Boasts very high physical attack and defense. Its counterattack, Blast Punch, delays target and causes damage. Casts Mighty Guard and Sloga. I don't remember casting Mighty Guard or Sloga, so I'm a little surprised by that. It's immune to a lot of stuff, including slow. But by boss standards, it's not immune to that much. It's immune to Power Break, which is frustrating because it's a physical attacker. But it's not immune to Dark, which is, I guess, what you're supposed to use to kind of win this thing. Except a lot of its punches, as I found out, hit you even when it's got Dark cast on it, because I don't think they're really normal physical attacks with a chance to miss. I think they're special physical attacks, which automatically hit. Be that as it may, I'm going to go ahead and try Dark Attack. That did not seem to inflict Dark status on it, so we'll try Dark Buster. That actually did inflict Dark status. Now you see it does Blast Punch, which cuts your hit points in half and always hits. Now, at least, it has been inflicted with Darkness. Let's get Riku out here. She casts haste on herself, of course. Get everybody else sped up so that we can take our time about figuring out who we want to have actually hitting this thing. Okay, it does cast Sloga. I don't remember it having done that ever during that last fight. Maybe if it's only doing that if your characters are sped up, and I didn't bother speeding one up last time. Haymaker kills Riku dead. Alright, this is already not really going that well. So it might be time pretty soon to stop messing around and bust out the party that I actually won with last time. Still got Darkness status on it. Tries to kill Kamari. Now it doesn't have Darkness anymore, so it'll probably kill someone on this turn. Does she know Protect? She does! Protect is pretty key in this fight because it does lots of physical attacks. These guys have gotten a chance to do something, so let's give Titus a chance to speed some folks up. And we'll see if it casts Sloga again. I was a little surprised, it didn't cast Sloga during the first fight at all. the one that has been lost to the ages because Camtage's difficulties. Protect do anything to this? No, she still gets hit points reduced to half and almost wiped out. Nice if that inflicted dark. Doesn't look like it did. It's weird. Dark Buster only does dark for one turn, but it always seems to work much better. Whereas Dark Attack inflicts darkness for 3 turns, but never freaking works. It would be very useful at this point if we had Armor Break and Mental Break, which decrease its defense, physical and magic defense. But I don't have those because I'm goofing around and leveling up people in funky new ways that the game didn't really intend. Did it work this time? Yes, it worked this time. Excellent. Steal? Yeah, I can. Lunar Curtain. Ah, it's not really worth the trouble. And Sloga again. I guess it just does Sloga. How many turns is this asshole gonna get? I guess he does Sloga if you cast Haste. Slow and dramatic. I'm putting up to cast Drain, but I've been slowed. And I'll make him cast it on himself first, if only because it'll speed up the guy who has to speed people up. And it's immune to silence, I think. Which is irritating. This game does sometimes punish you for trying to use status buffs. There are certain bosses where if you use status buffs, they will get an attack, sometimes not even taking up a turn. It will be like an auto attack, which doesn't affect the turn order in which they nullify it and punish you for even attempting it. Which, it's like, why are you putting buffs in the game if you're not going to let us use them? Still, I mean, we've got this well in hand. Still needs haste. I mean, at this point, frankly, if there was a way to nullify slow without putting on the haste command and just make it move at normal speed again, I would do it, but... Or if you can hit him with Provoke. Eh? Look at me. Yeah, you can. He's not immune to Provoke. Not sure if that will actually help anything. It does mean that it'll be Titus who keeps getting attacked. And it uses Blast Punch instead of its regular attack, so that might actually be good to keep it provoked. And it's still provoked. Okay, this is not a strategy I used last time, but if it keeps using Blast Attack, that's a good thing, because Blast Attack reduces your damage to half, which means that if it does that consistently and nothing else, I mean, that's a powerful attack. Excuse me, attack. When you're full hit points, but if it just does that all the time now, then, you know, Titus will never actually be defeated that way. Until he gets down to like 1 hit point left and it rounds up to 1 damage. And it's pretty easy to just do a light healing spell to prevent that from happening. Yeah, it looks like Provoke screws with this pattern. Okay, not bad. Not bizarre. Thundara. screwed up. Is he still provoked? Looks like he's still provoked. Well, there's no point inflicting darkness on him because he keeps doing that attack and it can't miss. Let's see. I might want to play with this. Try to get an overkill, because I didn't last time, and then I found out that he drops a level 2 key sphere. And I'm already annoyed I didn't get a level 2 key sphere. Overdrive double drop from the Seymour Flux Omnis, whatever the hell his name was. Gay alien Death Angel Seymour. He's also a zombie. We didn't get double item drops from him because we didn't finish him off with an overkill. And while I had been toying with the idea of going back and redoing that fight off camera, maybe it won't be necessary if I can actually get an overkill here. I'll just say that I got 1 out of 2 ain't bad. Come on. Ah. Yeah, see? Overkill. That's right, bitch. I killed you, Dad. And because of the overkill, I actually got more experience that time than I got for killing Chimera Geist, who was only worth 8,000 experience. And took like a freaking half an hour to destroy. So, 2 level 2 key spheres. And that boss was so freaking lame, we don't even get a post-boss battle cinema scene. We just... A couple of Guado came out, said some crap, a boss attacked, and we're not even gonna like ask, who are those Guado? Is Seymour still chasing us? Oh my god, no, he's not even giving crap. Now Riku is getting really close to spare change, a skill I very seldom use, but more annoyingly, she's getting close to Pilfer Gil, and we still don't have a level 3 key sphere to open that lock. And once I get Pilfer Gil, I'll probably be using it quite a lot to save up for using the bribe command to get the items we need to customize gear, which we'll need to fight any of the super bosses. Yeah, so, anyway, look at the sphere grid for a second. Let's talk about those monster trucks for a second. I got level 1 key sphere times 11, that's probably more than I'll ever need at this point. I've already unlocked a few of them. Level 2 key sphere times 9. I haven't actually counted the level 2 locks, but I have a feeling 9... 1, 2, 3... Well, maybe not. There's 3 right there. It's a bunch of level 4s. It's level 3. 6. Just trying to do a quick count of how many there are. Probably missing some. That's level 1. If I don't have enough level 2 key spheres for every single level 2 lock, I'm probably pretty close and can get the rest by doing bribes. I don't think I can be bothered to go back and refight Seymour off camera just to squeeze out 1 extra level 2 key sphere. Alright, that's what I was checking. Okay, so let's continue on.
This isn't the way in?
That way leads down into the valley.
Oh,
Wow, you know your way around, yeah?
I'm the narrator. I'm the narrator. Peace in the valley, there'll be peace in the valley for me. Yeah, the valley, wasn't that like in the valley the name of a Bullet Witch stage? We might be fighting giant dudes with metal plates over their huge external hearts here in a minute, shooting Gatling guns off their arms. That'll be pretty fun. So, we're in the valley, the gorge bottom. In the shadow of the beast that's whirling over. In the shadow of the leaves of the sunset. This land where Lady Yokan trained is sacred to the Crusaders. Lady Yokan was a member of the Crusaders before becoming a summoner. We aren't getting enough new recruits to rebuild the Crusaders. We want you. We want you. We want you as the new recruit. We want you. We want you. We want you as the new recruit.
I will not fail this time.
What are you talking about? Failing at what? Whatever.
I won't fail this time. Hello, sir. Not gonna happen this time, Charlie.
I don't know who Charlie is, but... Candy Mountain, Charlie. Yeah, I don't know what those monsters that we'd be fighting there would even count towards as far as if we capture them for the monster arena. What's this? Obtained rusty sword. Obtained rusty sword.
I summoned a Yokan once trained to this land.
Yeah, this is Lulu again, apparently. The Crusaders also intend to train here, John should say once again. Yet, our numbers have greatly diminished, so nothing we can do now. So they tell you a little bit about High Summoner Yokan. It seems like tiny little nuggets of information, whether you're interested in them or not, given to you about the High Summoners other than Braska over the course of the game. We know that High Summoner in Walhalland was apparently from Kilika area, and he used to be a blitzer. High Summoner Yokan, we don't know where she's from, but she apparently was a Crusader, and she trained at the Coglands. And I think there's a total of 4 High Summoners, because I remember there were 4 statues in the Besaid Temple. Obviously one of them is Braska, Yuna's pops. Yuna's, oh man, takes a look at her life, he's in love like she is. Something. But, the other one is, I think, High Summoner Gandalf, who did the Thunder Plains towers and stuff. I was like, he an Albed High Summoner or something? I'm not sure. So I'm going to save the game here. And, Lulu said something about a valley, and then gave us some cryptic message about not failing this time. And last video that I recorded that got eaten by the interwebs, the second of 2 videos I recorded ended right about here, but I pressed forward just a little, and as a result, I got another piece of dialogue. But it's a piece of dialogue that I think belongs at the beginning of a video and not at the end of a video, so I'm going to call it a video just a little bit early. And I pat myself in the back because by skipping the monstrously long fight with Chimeragheist, I hope not too many of you are upset by that, but basically it was an entire video to itself, and now I'm in half an hour's worth of time recording. I've caught up to pretty much where I was in the LP, assuming that this recording attempt takes. So I'm going to go ahead and call it a video. When we come back, ladies and jelly molds, you see my riff tracks that I've been purchasing. Here's my indication it's time to split the video. When we come back, we're going to go into this cave that you could probably see on the map screen. There's a little green thing we can enter. That's a cave. And when we try to go into the cave, we're going to get a little bit more information on what Lulu's talking about when she says, I won't fail this time.
I won't fail this time, Charlie.
And will also be, more or less, the last piece of character development Lulu will ever get in the game, because from this point forward, there's much more important things afoot than developing Lulu's character. Still, though, and technically, although she probably got less overall time spent on her character development than Waka did, Waka, I can't think of any more examples of a scene or a sequence or, you know, anything more than 1 or 2 little lines of dialogue thrown into the middle of a larger conversation where Waka gets to do much of anything. So she did get to get development after Waka stops, but the point is that those 2 have been thoroughly put on the back burner. So Lulu will get one last hurrah before becoming just a background character in the next video. This is Mysterious JG. I want to thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.